Come on, please. Yes! 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 Yes!
Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is episode number 26 of the 9 Dial Podcast, your one-stop shop for talking tungsten. And it's Lorenzo and Josh. Now, we should time code this. It's just gone 1 o'clock Melbourne, which is where we call this, obviously, in Melbourne, Australia. We are halfway through the World Matchplay, so there's a good chance people listening to this will be further into the tournament when they get around to listening to this than we are. But we will go on and we will review what we've seen so far. So we're halfway through the second round, so that top part of the bracket. We know the quarterfinals. We don't know the bottom half or anything else throughout the rest of the tournament. So whenever you're catching up on this, just keep that in mind as we talk about our predictions and so forth, because you might have more knowledge than us. How are you going, Josh, by the way?
Good afternoon. Very well. How about yourself?
Well, I'm going all right. What do you think? Whenever I walk in here with this shirt on, I'm always pretty happy. Stephen Bunting had a fantastic morning. Well, he had a shot his first 5 legs, but after that, he turned it on. But this week, we're going to mix things up a little bit, and I've been talking to Josh off there about all sorts of interesting things we could do with the 9 Dial Podcast going forward.
For sure.
And we might move around some of our segments, not getting rid of them, but just changing the order so the show flows a bit better. So this week we're going to, before we get to the first thoughts, which will be all about the World Matchplay, we're going to actually start with the best story. And you already know it because it's on the thumbnail, and it is the title of the video this week. Almost eclipsing what's been happening at Blackpool is the announcement of what might be in the future, because we basically talked about this every week for about a couple of months. With relation to our talk about MODUS.
We were saying sometime in May, sometime in June, whatever it is, but now we can confirm.
It's sometime in August.
Adrian Lewis is back.
Adrian Lewis, the two-time back-to-back champion of the world of 011 and 012, one of the most talented darts players we've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Protege of Phil Taylor, and Keith Deller had a big impact on him as well. Adrian Jackpot Lewis, who has not been cited in competitive darts since the 2023 UK Open, technically lost his talk out at the early stages of the year, has been taking an indefinite break from the sport. But now the big news is that in mid to late August, he will be competing alongside Steve Beaton. At the International Pairs Week of the MODUS Super Series. So after all this time, assuming he was going to be on in Group A, of a singles week. He's actually going to be part of a format which he has great success. 4 times a World Cup champion with his mentor and the legend that was, of course, Phil the Power Taylor.
16-time champion.
That's the right. He won a couple himself. It's just going to be so exciting to see Adrian back. Hopefully he's in the right space and he's happy about returning to darts. And obviously being with MODUS is a great place, as we know, with so much great darts go on there throughout every week. And this international pairs, which we loved when I certainly did, when they announced at the start of the year that they were going to do this every couple of weeks. And now with Jackpot representing England again, all feels good in the world.
Oh, it does. It's all happy days, isn't it? Well, they did build this up because they say obviously what the nation will be, and then on the Saturday they say what the pair will be.
With their social media announcement,
But I did not think Jackpot would come. I would think,
Neither did I.
Maybe in a month. I was thinking maybe another big name from England. I don't know.
Someone like a Mervyn King. Or
yeah,
someone
pretty
like
much.
That.
But I did not know it was Jackpot, and then we'll see in a minute. We've got a little interview snippet of him announcing himself and saying how good it will be to be on, but we just can't wait. There's going to be thousands of people watching around the globe on Pluto TV and YouTube. It's going to be so good.
You know, it's going to be the most anticipated week of darts, and I was thinking actually coming in here, so many of these guys who we see in the international pairs and those sort of special weeks, they do tend to stick around for a week or two later for the regular week. Yep. So hopefully being at this international pairs week will sort of be a preview of a proper individual campaign.
Well, I was going to say it'd be week 11, but it'd probably be series 11 or 12.
Series 12.
Series 12, maybe like week 4 or 5. I'm not sure. I mean, I have to do...
Let me get the MODUS calendar in front of me.
I would have to do the math on it, but... Yes.
While I find out exactly when that might be,
good idea.
Shall we listen to Jackpot himself?
Let's do it.
Discuss everything.
Get up on that stage, representing England again. Well, I didn't think it was going to be possible. So give us, have this opportunity, get back on the stage and represent my country. And I'm going to take it with both hands and go for it.
Is this a big comeback, or is this just let's see how it goes?
I think is it a big comeback? It's certainly on the right steps. I'm on the right way. Yeah.
So August is the 25th, I think,
Oh,
is
25th,
when that international pairs week. You'd assume England would be in Group A. So
Yep.
first game probably as well. There would be that first England match, and then the week after, starting the following Monday, is first week Series 12.
Oh, first week, okay.
I could easily see in
I could
in
see
week
too.
1 or 2 to kick off Series 12. Adrian Lewis being the big name there, if he so wishes to carry on from the first week. It would make complete sense. He'd be in that area anyway. Just stay there for another week and do it on your own on this occasion. Obviously, it's down to him and MODUS about if that happens and when that happens. But that would make a lot of sense to me.
It'd be great. Yeah, I know when Mervyn King did the international pairs week,
he
he
stuck
was
around.
that extra week. Yep. So and he's been on that finals night a few times now. So that's gonna be good to see.
Yeah.
But can't wait, mate. It's just gonna be so good to see Jackpot. And looking at it, there's just a snippet, but I watched the whole interview. He looks in such a happy space. He was
He seemed
smiling.
pretty happy, yeah.
He was talking about his life. He was the question I think it was Chris Mason who asked that question, but he was saying, is this sort of the big return? I think it could be. I reckon it could be the start of a big return.
Yeah. So let's sort of map out the rest of the year. So he does this in August. He might be there in September. Champions Week is towards the end of November. There'll be exhibitions along the way
For sure.
that he's already booked for. And then January rolls around. Does he
Hello.
does he go down to Milton Keynes? And if he can
Q
win a
School.
tour card, he would be directly in the UK Open. Where if he gets his tour card back, he'll be on first round main stage UK Open regardless of who he plays.
No doubt.
They'll be shoving him first on at when we get to Butlins Minehead next March. Should he be there? And also, what was I going to say? It would also be in the potentially in that qualifier. It would be in that qualifier for the World Masters to potentially go back on the PDC stage as early as late January on a TV stage. In theory, there's a lot of things that needs to happen between then and now. But there is a route back for Adrian Lewis in the next few months. Yeah, but I'll be looking forward to this. It's going to be a huge week.
No
International
doubt.
Pairs was great the first time round, and
so
it's going to
good.
be even bigger the second time round with 80. And it might even be we might see him towards in those first couple of weeks of Series 12 at the start of September as well.
Looking forward to seeing Beaton as well. Obviously, we would think Australia would be there. We haven't seen it yet. Obviously, we'll see
Well, we
later
tuned
on.
in on the first one. They weren't there either.
Yeah, so hopefully, Mason's playing in this week, which I'll get to later on the show. But hopefully he can
Mason
stay
and
for a
Simon,
while.
come on.
Yeah, and hopefully they can play. That'd be great. I think there's 4 more spots left in the makeup of the
Surely Australia gets...
grouping.
Is Gibraltar in this one as well? Do you remember at the top of your head?
Who knows?
Who knows? All right. Shall we... we could talk about Adrian Lewis
We
Gerwyn
could.
for the next hour, but there is a pretty large tournament called the World Matchplay that occurs in Blackpool in the Empress Ballroom of the Winter Gardens.
It's
How
only
have
the-
you seen it so far,
So
Josh?
it's only the
Second biggest
biggest
ranking tournament.
bring me to it. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
How have
But-
you seen it so
wow,
far? What's been anything? How have you seen it?
It's been fantastic. Yeah, well, if you sort of look at the predictions, we got pretty close of what we would
Yes.
think it'd be. There's been a few outliers. You did mention the Van Veen versus Humphries game in that first night.
As a wild card for
The-
predictions could be thrown about, and that's exactly what
The
happened.
third game on, and sure enough, 10-8 in the end, he prevailed. 98 average in the end over Humphries, who had 95. Really good showing. He was just fantastic. So that was one of the huge games that we saw in that first day. And obviously
And
it was Heta versus Gilding
Was
that we
such
both watched
live-
12-10 in the end. That was a fantastic
That was a great
game.
match.
You have to give credit to Gilding in the end.
Yeah.
For sure. Obviously Heta was very, very close, both in excess of 100 average there, but when the pressure was on, Gilding just found a way again and again to get himself out of a hole. If it was a 180 or 140,
And there was nothing Heta did
100
particularly
checkout.
wrong. It was
No.
just timing is all important. These things, and sometimes in these darts matches, you play reasonably well, or even better than you might have expected, and it just doesn't quite happen.
It was also sort of 3-4 legs at the end where his scoring just sort of tapered
it
down
was-
a little
and
bit.
Once you got into extra
Sort of
legs, he was
declined.
getting tired,
Yeah.
and he wasn't hitting trebles on a regular enough basis. That was really the only thing
Yeah.
that sort of cost him towards the end of that. What was a very good match. So a 12-10 win there for Andrew Gilding, for the former UK Open champion, of course. Good old Goldfinger. I was going to say something. That's right. We were looking over our first round predictions. Josh was a pretty decent 11 out of 16.
Not bad.
I was 13.
go.
Only Luke Humphries, Damon Heta, and Robb Cross let me down in that first round. Everyone else did the job done. Well done to those 13 of you. Thank you very much. So we have some crazy moments, and
we
this
sure did.
man is just frustrating to watch.
He's always
Cameron
on the
Menzies,
crazy moment segment.
He's a crazy moment when he was down 5-0 and 8-2, lost 10-2 to Danny Nopper, did Cameron Menzies. But early in the match, this was a great opportunity. It's on 1-7-8, 58 left, so 18 would have left tops with Danny on 1-2-1, and Cameron Menzies forgot his score and Buster 180, which is the most Cameron Menzies time Cameron Menzies has ever Cameron Menzies. He's very frustrating because the talent is there, obviously, but he just feels a bit too. I'm not sure what the exact word I'm looking for, but it feels like so often he's not quite in the right headspace to be as competitive on the big stages as we know he should be.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it was a 10-2 defeat in the end, and only an 81 average. He was in that first break. He didn't pick up a single leg at all.
That first session.
Yeah, first session rather, and he just didn't look good. But again, we know the talent that this man has, but he just can't produce it on the big stage, and he lets himself down in the mental space when he has these sort of big bust scores or doesn't hit a double. So that's a prime example of him sort of letting himself down, really, in the end.
It was a very, very silly thing to do.
Didn't help his
Fair
cause.
play to Kirk Bevins as well for the new score that added to the drama of the moment. Nanny Urikwa 121. So he gifted
extra effect.
He gifted Danny Cameron did a big advantage in that leg when he really should have been sitting on tops and putting on as much pressure as he could. He put on too much pressure because he went back to where he started.
Pretty much.
Very, very frustrating moment there, and we've seen it a couple of times where guys have bust scores, bust 180s. Gerwyn Daryl did famously at the World Championships, but many years ago. But that was one crazy moment. We have not seen an eye data at this tournament, but we could have seen two. Andrew Gilding in that classic match against Damon Heta, and Stephen Bunting this morning against Gary. The Stephen Bunting one hurts me even more, obviously, as a Stephen fan, because when that first 180 went in, I thought, right, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. And then that second 180 went in, that last start was only barely clinging on. Yes. No, he's done this a few times, Stephen, when he's gone for double 12 on 9s. Most of them several years ago where he's pulled it low and he did it again. Stephen. But look, great efforts, obviously, for the both of them, and they've won their games. So both by a margin of 12-10, interestingly.
Wow.
We will see with Stephen. He's still waiting for that first televised 9-dart finish. It's going to come one day, and it's going to be a great scene wherever it happens. But we've had a couple of 9-dart attempts. I think MVG got 7 in at one point, and Mike Dedecker did as well this morning. Now, this is a big talking point. We could have almost great debated this. Gerwyn Price and Daryl Gurney famously are not massive fans of each other.
No.
They had a Premier League match where Gurney drew 7-7, and they literally needed the security and George Noble to separate them because they were going at it after the match, and they did it again here. My question for you, Josh, you can say about whatever you can say whatever you are planning to say on this, but my sort of overarching point is this good for the sport, yes or no?
It depends how far it goes, I think. It's all good for the argy-bargy and the hurrahs and all that, but it depends if it goes to a personal level, I think. That's just my personal view.
I know a lot of guys,
enough,
particularly a lot of the older-fashioned guys, people like Paul Nicholson, Chris Mason, Colin Lloyd, where didn't have Wayne Mardle, John Parr.
Paul Nicholson in his day.
Paul Nicholson in his day would have gone another 10 times, especially
2010, 2012. Oh my God.
We won't get that. That's a dark archive for another day. No, but for whatever reason, and I don't know why this is, these sort of incidents, when they do happen, this sort of argy-bargy, do seem to stick to darts as a sort of reputation thing, or darts plays a lot more than it would in other sports, and I'm not entirely sure why. Peter Manley and Adrian Lewis had a famous one of the 06 World Championships. That was the first time Adrian Lewis really came onto the scene there in that infamous quarterfinal when he walked off stage because Manley was talking at him as he was trying to throw. These sort of things do stick a bit, and and a lot of people, there's probably, but I think Matthew Edgar said something on his YouTube channel which was pretty fair. Sometimes Gerwyn's gone all the top, and sometimes he's sort of down here in sort of his niceties, and somewhere in the middle is the best version of Gerwyn Price. Because if he's too far up here, he's actually not really focusing on the darts, and he's turning the crowd off him. And when he's too far down here, he's not as much as that Gerwyn Price character that we all love. When he's controlling it and he's somewhere in the middle, that's the best version of Gerwyn Price. Because he's been Gerwyn Price, but he isn't doing it in a way that's distracting him from the darts he's playing.
He has done a lot of extreme things. Obviously, the headphones,
The
right?
famous headphones from the World Championship. There was his first major win was that Grand Slam final when he was yelling and Gary Anderson was trying to approach the oche.
Yeah.
So he's had a fair share of bust-ups. Again, mentioned Price Gurney in the Premier League all those years ago as well. So it was an odd moment. Daryl Gurney, we sent a letter from the
sure.
DRA. I'm not sure. It might be more a formal warning instead of a fine.
Maybe.
I don't think it was I'm not with those who thought this is particularly good, just because it just feels like it sticks to the good reputation of darts a little more than if the equivalent happened in other sports.
Yeah, true.
For some reason, I'm not even sure why that is.
Yeah, it's a good point. Good point. Well,
so
obviously,
I'm not as massive fan of as what went on there.
obviously, these two were playing each other just a month ago in the World Cup.
They
right?
were, and they were pretty friendly then. They were on good terms then. And to be
Maybe.
fair, most of these bust-ups, within 30 minutes, they're having a smile and a laugh backstage anyway. In the vast majority of cases, it doesn't ruin a friendship or anything like that.
No. Maybe it's some leftover business in the World Cup. That
Maybe
didn't
there
get,
was a bit of that from
finished.
Gerwyn. Maybe that was a bit of that from Gerwyn. He was
Although-
thinking, Rocky carried you and we nearly did it.
Although I will say, it was really well respected and respectful in that
Yeah,
final.
it was in that match, yeah.
There was no real beef in that final, but maybe there's something backstage that we don't know about, or something said online. We got no idea, but
Yeah.
maybe there's something that's not done as yet. But it was a good game regardless.
It was a good game of darts at any rate. Ricardo Pietrezco had a weird Robin Hood. This is when the point of the dart sticks into the flight of a dart that's already in the board and thus doesn't count. There's been 2 or 3 occasions where there's been a double Robin Hood. One's gone into the back and one's gone into the back of the other one. These are
Crazy.
always odd
They are.
because you're not expecting that. You're waiting for the dart to go into the board, and then there's a sound as if it's hit the board, done, but it's hit the flight or the ring on the back of the dart instead of the actual one itself. So it's always weird when a Robin Hood happens.
Oh, it is for sure. It was at a crucial point in the game as well. So that extra 60 would have been nice. But
Yeah, even 20.
it happens in the end, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I've done it. You've probably done it as well.
Yeah, I
in your
did do
time.
it. I have done it. Yeah, it's always a bit weird. Because you're also expecting to take 3 darts out of the board if you've thrown 3 darts.
Yeah.
And you only sort of take out 2 and there's another one. And you're walking back and there's another dart over there. It's like, oh, this is a bit odd.
And you got to make sure you actually check up on your equipment, see if
Yeah,
it's not
make sure
damaged
you
or
haven't
anything.
damaged your flights or your points or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so we already did the best story, so we moved down to the positive surprise, and it's been a big tournament for the Dutchies.
Absolutely, it
Dutch
has.
delight it's been. Gian van Veen is through to the quarter-final now. He beat Luke Humphries, of course, 10-8, and then this morning 11-5 over his fellow countryman in Danny Noppert, who beat Cameron Menzies. And Wessel Nijman as well, very impressive.
Very,
in that
very
10-6
impressive.
win against Nathan Aspinall, 101.72 average. Looks like one of these guys. He's going to need a few more of these performances on telly, first, second round losses, just to get that stage experience. But I expect him in years to come. We'll be talking about him as contenders for tournaments like the Match Play and the Slam and all the others.
Well, he's still very, very young. God, he's in his prime years at the moment, and then he'll obviously keep going. But these are the years where he keeps experimenting with himself. He says, okay, is my throw in the right area? And
now in the world.
obviously just confidence of how far can I go. Yeah, I'll be interested
Well,
to see
number
what's
40, up 2 places.
40. Yeah, wow. Okay, so he's sort of in around.
He's
that
still
sort
not
of
even a...
top
Well, for the
32.
moment, he's not a seed for the World Championship. Is he on the
No.
World Championship race, though? That is a fine question. I sort of hope he is, because
You'd
he
think,
would
yeah.
deserve it. Is he... Where is he? No, he's number 37 on the World Championship race, so he's still got a bit to do to be a seed of the world. But yeah, his Pro Tour form is very, very strong. So
He's only 25 years of age,
and
take into account.
Yeah, he's still
They're
got
very, very
plenty
young.
of years, plenty of good years ahead of him so
Absolutely.
far. Should also mention Dirk van Dijvenbode, who
Yes.
beat Rob Cross, who once again continues to struggle at times. And Dirk will play. So we've got 3 more Dutchmen playing tomorrow. Michael van Goen, who beat his countryman Raymond van Barneveld. Dirk van Dijvenbode, who got a win over Rob Cross. And Jermaine Watermina beat Peter Wright as well. So we saw
Interesting games,
3 Dutch guys
those.
today,
Yeah.
and we'll see 3 Dutch guys tomorrow as well. So that's going to be fun.
That's delight, of course. Absolutely.
They've got a
Very impressive.
strong presence in the
this
world of
tournament.
darts to the Netherlands in general, and certainly this tournament. But we have seen plenty of seeds for. We've already talked a bit about Damon Heta.
Yep.
And again, Humphries and Cross probably not awful performances by any stretch of the imagination. Cross has actually out-averaged Dirk, but still lost 10-8. It's just doing things at the right time, and they were playing against some of the stronger opponents, or potentially strong opponents in Dirk and Van Veen, but they let us down a little bit. Given
They did.
had those 3 won, I would have got 16 out of 16, and they've only lost by a collective.
Well, so there you go.
2, 4. They've only lost by a collective 6 legs. They each lost by 2.
There you go. Well, it shows how competitive it was in each and every game. Unfortunately, Rob Cross seems to be in this segment a lot of the time, but
He does.
It wasn't like he played bad or anything. It was
No.
only a 2-leg deficit, but yeah, interesting. But no, of course, for Aussie, Damon Header, so close, man. So
Yeah, so
close.
close.
We were both watching live, and you go, oh, missed the 9 data, and he just hanging. He kept breaking Gilding's throw, and Gilding kept breaking Damo's
know.
throw. I couldn't believe it.
So often in these darts matches now, it's almost like you want to throw second now. You don't want the advantage
saying
of
to
throwing
him, like-
first. It's easier to break than hold sometimes in these matches.
I think it was like 9-8 at one point. I'm like, okay, just hold throw here, and you got this. And then Gilding hits a clutch 180, bang, 9-9 again. It's like so frustrating, but great game, of course, as we spoke
It
about.
was. We know the Blackpool crowd is actually a bit more darts friendly than others. We did have
Yes.
one whistling. There might have been a couple of other little ones that
Minor
didn't really
occasions,
count.
but-
This was the only half disappointing moment. I was struggling to think about what else disappointed us in the week. There isn't much because it's Blackpool and it's always great. This is Humphries Van Veen. The interesting thing is that Whistler is clearly. I don't think the Whistler has actually anticipated Humphries throwing that well. Because
No.
by the time he's whistled, the dart is going towards the board. So I
Yeah.
think in this case, it's more Humphries just angry that someone was whistling rather. I don't think it really put him off the doubles as much.
Maybe.
Because by the time. Because, the guy didn't really anticipate that very well at all.
Well, it wasn't like it was way off on that double 10.
On
It
that double 10, it was
just
on the wire.
that wire. Yeah. And the whistling was like just a fraction after he actually threw the dart, but I
Yeah.
think it still was enough to sort of play with him.
Yeah.
Because it was on every
It just
single
more-
dart he
it just-
threw as well.
Yeah, it was just more. It was more annoying than anything else. I
Yeah.
think, from Humphries'
Yeah.
point of view. Yeah,
It's still happening,
It's still
unfortunately.
happening. The great debate this week. I have a proposal for you, and my two sort of people behind this are Michael Smith and I should have written proposed order of merit change. Well, it's the Werner rankings ladder, but we're not calling it that
Yes.
every time.
Ladder.
Michael Smith, Nathan Aspinall. Now, here's why I bring these two up. 2 years ago, Josh, at this particular tournament, the World Matchplay, Michael Smith was the number 1 seed. He was number 1 in the world. Now he's not even in it.
No.
7-8 months ago, he was still the world number 2. Going into this tournament, Nathan Aspinall was the number 9 seed. Number 9 seed? Sorry, 8th seed. James Wade is 9. Currently, as we speak, he's currently world number 23. And if Andrew Gilding wins a couple more matches, Jermaine Watermain wins a couple more matches, which isn't massively likely, but he could in theory drop even further. And I said in my World Matchplay preview article that this could very well happen if Aspinall lost in the first round. The problem with this current order of merit system, which I will be fair, is slightly better than the older points one, where Colin Lloyd was world number 1, despite the fact he didn't win anything. Was anything big, that is. It's the fact that all these drops are happening very quickly. So it goes up here and then they go down.
Yep.
Go here, go down. Michael Smith didn't go from world number 2 to not even qualifying for the World Matchplay in the period of 7 months. That's something that has taken a bit of time. In the same way, Nathan Aspinall didn't go from the 7th best player to the 23rd best player in the world in a week. That's something that's taken a bit of time. So the rankings are still a bit all over the place. Here is my proposal to fix this.
Yep.
And there's various different ways you could do it. I'm going to just, for the purpose of this podcast, I'm going to go with my personal favourite, which
Sure.
is just the easiest to implement. It's a depreciation of the money won. So the easiest way to do this, and there are other ways, but the easiest way to do this is say, we'll use Luke Littler as an example because that's the easiest
course.
one. He won the World Championship this year. This year, at the start of the year. £500,000 was won. When we get to this upcoming World Championship, half of that 500,000, so 250,000, will come off his ranking. And then 2 years from now, that other 250,000 will come off his ranking. So actually, if this was to be the case of this upcoming World Championship, he'd actually be defending 350,000 because he made the final, which is £200,000 in 2024.
Yep.
So half of that 100 would have already come off, and then the other 100 comes off 12 months later.
Yeah.
Now, you could, in theory, bracket that even down to 24 months payments as well, because, look, when Luke Humphries won the World Championship 19 months ago, that feels like ages away, and
It
it's
does.
still on his order of merit, the same value of which as it was on day one. And on the end of that 2 years, it feels very different and doesn't hold the same weight as it was, and yet there's no difference in weighting on the ranking from 12 months to the last 12 months. Now, you could do this for just TV tournaments or all ranking events if you really wanted.
Yep.
Part of me also wanted to sort of go through the maybe going into, I might do this next week, put up another spreadsheet. What would the world rankings look like after the World Matchplay if this was the system we used? And it'll be interesting to see who rises and falls. That might be a bit of a long difficulty, and I might do the just TV ranking version of that instead of all of it, because it might be a bit more difficult.
Don't make it too hard for yourself.
Does a depreciation sort of order of merit, however you want to do it, do you think that would make a bit more sense? It would be a bit fairer to all involved and be a more fair representation of darts rankings?
I can see where you're coming from, for sure. Well, blokes who have regressed in form, that have gone, like, obviously, unfortunately, Michael Smith's a perfect example of him being in that sort of, top 16 area, then really, really sloping down. So I can see it being probable. I can see it being a fair reason. Again, no, you're right, because that money keeps coming off every year, every 2 years, and I haven't really thought about it, but now that you said that, it actually makes really good sense for guys. You should be rewarding guys who are winning or coming really, really close again and again and again.
Right now, instead of
exactly.
guys who won something 20 months ago and haven't won much since.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good way to do it, because you're rewarding guys who are continuing to be really good and get more views and be the sort of highlight of PDC. So I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, so sort of, and they do sort of variations in other sports where there is a weighting to it. So the last 12 months is more important than the next 24 months.
Yep.
A 3-year thing could also be done where you sort of spread it
Yeah.
out a bit more. But I don't think it needs a massive overhaul of the order of merit, but I feel like that's the simplest way to get it done and make it a bit fairer. So someone would. It would probably still happen every now and again when someone really drops off in one fell swoop, but it would be you'd be able to see that a bit more, and it would also make going into the tournament, you might put some guys who aren't playing well under a bit more pressure, more rightly, because they won this tournament 12 months ago and half of that's coming off, instead of the previous year where they only lost in the first round. So if there's no real change to their ranking when there really should be. So I think that would be a fairer representation. You'd have 100% of the last 12 months and 50% of 13 to 24 months ago would be a fairer way of doing it at the moment. And it would be interesting to see what the rankings would be after this tournament. Maybe I might do that. Maybe I won't. See how much time I've got up my sleeve. But I think
Makes
something like
sense.
that would make a lot more sense. And that was the point that people like Chris Mason and Matthew Edgar were saying. They were saying that with regards to Michael Smith, and people were like, well, he needs to win more matches to qualify. And it's like, well, yes, technically he is, but that drop-off has been a big factor in loss in form when it wasn't probably fair. And these guys were probably protected by their rankings for too long.
Makes sense.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, I agree. No, that's a good point. Yeah, it sort of depends of that tournament how long you're sort of holding on to that prize money for. I think that's the best way to go about it, because it's been 2 years. It's like, well,
2 years is a long time.
it's a long time. Yeah, if you're not winning on the floor, let alone in big TV events, it's like, well, you still got that money, but if you get taken it off, you're right under pressure. You're really under the pump to try and perform well.
Yeah.
I reckon it's a good idea.
Alrighty. For the future star this week, I'm going to briefly talk about the WF Europe Cup Youth, and I saw a bit of this on the socials, and this was a very strong event. A lot of guys we're very regular to see on the JDC were at this, and we're playing some thrilling stuff. There were some great matches, great moments in the doubles, and a lot of odd things happening as well. Which we like. So there was a boys and a girls singles event and a boys and girls doubles event. So Mitchell Laurie from Scotland won the boys event, beat Mason Tessie in the final. Paige Pauling, perhaps not surprisingly, won the girls singles.
Yeah. She's very good.
Now let me just Jack Dunkervis, who won that JDC tournament, and Teese won the boys doubles. And Harvard Ruck and Brewster from Wales won the girls pairs event. So it was a round robin and then a knockout tournament.
Okay.
Just for the European guys, obviously. Obviously Europe Cup, and they do these things. They've done this the WDF since basically the 70s, where they've had these sort of based on regions. Like Paul Lim in the 80s and 90s would win the Asia Pacific Cup, which is the equivalent out here. So a very strong event, and from what I saw on social media, very well So there were some great individual efforts as well. There was a great leg. I think it was part of a doubles, but it was a singles one between Paige Pauling and someone from Turkey. I'm not sure if that was that event or something else that happened in the WDF during the week, and it was a very strong. It was a sort of sudden death winner takes the tie sort of thing, and it was a very strong leg, and
Gotcha.
and the Turkey girl actually beat Paige Pauling in that leg, which was a very great effort. Again, I'm not 100% sure where that sat in with everything, because often with these WDF tournaments, it's like as we've seen in Australia this week, there's like 2 or 3 going on at the same time in the same place.
Yeah.
So it's all a bit confusing. But well done to everyone who had even making a quarterfinal of this event.
Absolutely.
Is a very strong effort to be in amongst the best in Europe, which we know is the main darting region of the world, so the strongest darting region of the world.
Yep.
So well done, particularly to Laurie and Pauling, who are the singles winners in the boys and girls. It's a very good effort.
Absolutely.
Time for the latest news. The World Seniors Darts, the actual draw for this came out as well, which only just hit me. I remember that. But this tournament at the Epsom Racecourse is going to be on the BBC. I'm not sure if this is actually on the BBC TV proper or just on one of their on iPlayer, I think they call it. But that's good for darts just to have it on a recognisable brand.
Yep.
Is a net positive.
Yeah, for sure. Well, MODUS does Pluto TV. That's not really the most recognisable brand in comparison to a global BBC sort of thing. So that's great for the sport to get more exposure on there. So that should be really good. I am looking forward to seeing how those senior guys will go next year. Obviously, we saw Ross Montgomery pick up the title this year.
Pick up the World Championship this year, and he's played well in all.
He did play very well.
Events this year in the on the World Senior side of things. So we'll continue to follow the World Seniors darts stuff. There's some great names there doing very good things, and we see them not just in the World Seniors context, but at MODUS and at other things,
of course,
as well. Of course.
Bit
Next
closer to
up,
home, New Zealand.
Yes, New Zealand specifically. Ben Robb beat Raymond Smith in the final. He averaged, I think it was, let me get this in front of me exactly, but it was like 98 or something. He beat, I'm still not finding the right one. I want matches, not results. I need to expand this. Here we go. Yep, 6-1. Ben Robb, the number 4 seed, beat Raymond Smith, the 2 seed, in the final of the men's Pacific Masters. 98.09 average. A very strong week for Ben Robb as well. He had to battle through 5-4, only averaging 86 in that semi-final against James Bailey. He's playing some good stuff at the moment, James Bailey, on the Australian scene. He's not like winning events, but he's making deep runs to quarter semis-finals on the ADA and in the on the Dove Place Australia, WDF scene, that sort of things. But well done, Ben Robb, a 6-1 winner there in the men's event. Joanne Hadley of Victoria picked up the women's title as well. Actually beat a fellow Victorian, Tori Kurish, in the final as well. So that's a strong week for Victoria on the women's side of things. But Ben Robb, the Kiwi, picking up the men's Pacific Masters title there, all organised by Darts Australia. The China Pro Tour continues.
Yes.
Josh, I think these are your ones.
Yes, it was their second week of the China Pro Tour, and Lu, Zong, and Zan were victorious in events 4, 5, and 6. I've got the results on the next slide, please. So just highlight a few results here instead of listing them all out and get sort of a visual. But in event 4, it was Zan who got the victory over Chin Hao Lee 4-2, and then picked up the victory against Chao Chen Zong in the semi-final 5-3, and then won in the final against Yeonjin Liu. Hopefully got that all right in the final. Event 5, which is also on the Saturday, Chao Chen won over Chi Cheng Han 4-0. Chao Cheng Zong then won against Liu 5-2, and then won against Bin Zheng in the final 5-1. Then on the Sunday, event 6, Liu won 4-2 over against Li Hao Wen, then 5-4 against Chi Hao Zong again, and then the final 5-1 against Jun Yu Wang. So that was event 4, 5, and 6 in the China Pro Tour. Good to see these guys getting more exposure on the big stages. So good to see.
I was listening to obviously China's in Asia, and I will say we've mentioned the Tops and Tails Hugh Ware podcast. I will say the Paul Lim episode it was
fantastic.
My favourite.
Go on,
I just
listen to
did
that.
want to say because I was looking some Paul Lim stuff around that sort of thing. Just to keep in mind when we go and look at order of merits. Often that will encompass of the last 12 months, but the race for a World Championships will only cover only cover stuff that happened this year.
Yep.
So for example, Paul Lim's only, I think, 5th or 6th in the Asian Tour Order of Merit, but he's 3rd on the World Championship race. When
Yeah.
you just look to that. So I thought I might do a bit disclaimer for anyone doing their own research. You go, well, Paul Lim's not 3rd in the. Well, it depends what exactly you're looking at and what system you're looking at. Just to keep that in mind. Sometimes it does get a bit confusing.
It does. It sure does.
Darts has so many Order of Merits and rankings, and people are playing in like 3 or 4
Races
events on
and-
a
I know.
weekend and race for this tournament and. Trying to qualify through that method, it's all a bit.
And of course,
messy.
you've got the secondary tours, the challenge tour. It's there's so much going on,
And
but we try and do our best to
and
sort
you-
of make it all.
And if you've got this, you can't play
Right.
there. But if you're this and of that age and that gender, you can play that, and that.
Yeah.
It's all a bit of a mess.
Can't play
Um,
PDO, we can play BDO or Lakeside rather.
Yeah, WF now.
More MODUS for you. Series 11, Week 9. This was the qualification. I'll get to the winner in just a minute, but Derek Coulson won Group A. Andreas Harris and Tommy Leishman, Steve West
Your
won.
man.
My West, yes, it was winner, runner-up, and 3rd place in Group B. Keegan Brown won Group C, and the runner-up was Scott Baker, and the winner, 4-time, will be in Champions Week is Derek Coulson. He was
What's with him and
your,
MODUS?
he was your victor.
Every year, every series, he's on it.
Every time the live land, she just loves this place in Portsmouth. So I'll go through the results quickly. In the group stage, he won 4-2 with a 94.1 average against Scott Baker, a 4-0 whitewash against Tommy Leishman. Semi-final, a beautiful 4-0 win
Averaging
with a
a
100
ton.
average against Westy, and then
Didn't give West a
4-3
hope.
victory against Andreas Harrison. Andreas Harrison had a match dart at this. I watched the final. It was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
double 10, and he missed it, and then Coulson took his chance, won in the end, 96 average to 93, won 180 and 44.44% on the doubles. So he'll be back for Champions Week, and boy, he was playing some great darts.
I will say one thing, that doubling percentage is a lot better than what Stephen's been doing at Blackpool. I think both he and Gary this morning were like at 25% or something stupid. Yeah, so this is... Oh, here's Coulson.
Never been done before by any player in history. You're achieving things that some of the greats of the game can't do.
Quite emotional, and yeah, to come back Champions Week again, it's a hell of an achievement. Normally I'm quite laid back and just take things as they come, but to make it again 4 in a row, I'm really, really happy with that.
So there you go. There's some words from him post-game after his victory over Dirty Harrison. You can see he's just very happy with himself. He's loving what he's playing at the moment. He's enjoying the stage, enjoying playing against these high-caliber
Absolutely.
players, and fantastic interview with Henry Deacon and Chris Mason there for sure. If we go to Week 10, Ollie Howard, he's on debut. What did I say?
You were
What did I
very
say?
strong on this. This is a rare good take from you. Ollie Howard, my play at MODUS. Yeah, well done.
If you
But some
saw
other-
a reel last night that's on it, so go listen to that, go watch that. But we also have some very good
I
names.
will give credit for you for tracking down those original, because I couldn't remember when on earth we spoke about half the things we talk about on this show.
I know.
what
I'm just
episode
like,
they were.
hang on. I knew it was back there somewhere. So, but regardless, Big Boris is here in Group A, so he'll be there. The ADC Global Championship, Devin Peterson, he's also
I
there.
can't, you've circled a lot of big names here. I
I
can't
know.
remember you haven't even circled Richie Burnett, the
Oh well,
the
I mean,
crazy.
he's there every week. Come on, he's there like 10 times. But be closer to
We
home.
love
Mason
Richie.
Whitlock is here in Group B, so he's back on the stage. Looking forward to seeing him. And then obviously Ollie Howard in Group C. So a very good lineup. I've circled 4 names. I could have circled probably a couple more, but they were the very, very
Steve
notable
Hine,
ones. Steve Hine, he's
the
been there.
Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
Yeah.
There's what was that guy in the Melbourne Renegades who was called the Muffin Man? It was a keeper, and he played 5-6 years ago. I'll get to that later. Oh, Tim Seifert? No, maybe. Not sure.
Maybe.
Anyway,
Was he the Muffin Man? I can't remember.
not sure. Anyway, it was someone else. But there you go. That's the Week 10 lineup. We've got the Group A standings on the next slide. It's a 2-way race between Boris and Ryan for that spot. 18 points, 9-1 record for Boris, and a 8-2 record, 16 points for Ryan. And Dan, Richie, and Devon all on 8, and Niels, who hasn't had the best start, 1 and 9, only on the 2 points. So it's going to be a 2-horse race for that Group A spot, you'd think. So very interesting results, but yeah, I mean, Dan and Richie could do it, but it would take an absolute miracle. But it's a 2-horse race there. I think Boris will get there just because he's got that extra game ahead of him, and he's got a pretty good draw. So we'll find out. And then obviously that will go down to Group B and Group C. It'll be so interesting to see who Ollie Howard faces. I'm looking forward to watching that. That'll be Friday morning, Australian Eastern Time. So looking forward to that for sure.
The Muffin Man. Google AI is giving me Nick Madison, but I'm not sure.
No,
if
that's
it's
not
him.
him.
It wasn't him.
That's not him.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will
Are you
find
a
that.
Renegade supporter or not?
No, I'm a Stars fan.
Yeah, no, I'm Renegade, so I should
know
know
you are.
that, but I don't remember that at all. Anyway.
Anyway.
Move on. These are the winners so far, and Smith, Taylor, O'Shea, McGurk, Hamilton, Goals, Vansky, Usher, and Coulson as well.
Yep.
We're through. Now, we'll look at the week ahead for the rest of the World Match Play. Let's spend a little bit of time on this, Josh. We've talking a lot about the top half of the draw, obviously, because the quarterfinals of that, second round matches were today. But if we look at the bottom half, Luke Littler, he averaged, he put an extra 5 points on his average with the shirt alone. In his win
insane
against
game.
Ryan Searle. He went up 5-0 early and raced away with it.
Now, first session, he had a 120 average. It was incredible.
Yeah,
5-0.
he was in the Kim
he was
Hybrex
just
Smoke
locked in
going
that
at
zone.
his best,
Oh,
and
yeah.
no one else was there.
Couldn't touch him.
Yeah, 108.9 in the end. First win on the Blackpool stage, of course, much mentioned.
Of course.
Is he now with Damo out and Michael still over the place? He feels a bit more comfortable in that group. We've got Jermaine Watamina tomorrow morning our time.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Van Gogh and Josh Rock. You feel like Rock goes off favourite for most of us. You would have thought, just with the way Michael. It was very nervy against Barney.
He was.
It was just.
Scratchy.
It was all.
Yeah.
Both of them were just not on.
No. In those big moments where he had to take the double, he couldn't do it, and then Barney punished him. So.
And then sometimes Barney wouldn't.
And then be the other way.
Back.
Exactly. But you would think Rock would win, but if MUG can find that sort of Premier League form that we know he can have, it could be really interesting.
I was thinking, who would I want if Bunting made the final? Who would I most want to be out there?
Ooh, okay.
Make play against, and I wouldn't want it to be MVG because if MVG makes the final, he's found some form.
He's
all
a
of
different
sudden.
beast.
So the answer is probably whoever wins Gilding Van Veen.
Who would you want to play if you're Bunting?
Well,
if you're
the easiest
sitting at the
one,
hotel,
again, the easiest one is one of Watamina, Gilding, or Van Dyvenberg. I feel like Dirk might be the best one there, just because. Obviously, if he makes the final, obviously there's been a good run of form, but he can still be a bit erratic and all over the place. Look, I think Stephen should just take it as it comes and not get too worried about what's happening on the other side of the bracket.
That's what the good players do. They just worry about game by
they
game.
Just go game by game and go, whoever's next is next, and I can
ready for anyone.
Ready to focus on hitting more trebles, Stephen, and finishing on the outer ring. Double 16 was not very good for him.
No.
This morning, thank goodness, that's why he went 12 tops and said 20 double 16 on that 112, which he won to win that particular match. I do want to actually ask you this at one point. Is Gary Anderson, will he ever win another big one? Because it just feels like his scoring is too all over the place. He can still hit playing ton 80s and ton 40s.
His best is very, very good, but then
it's
he can
a 26, it's a 40. 6, it's a 59 when he really needs to put in a couple of trebles.
He can have a lot of trebleless visits, that's for sure. He can have some really good scores and then really let himself down in crucial moments. But yeah, it was not the best for him. Obviously, 12-10 loss, and Bunting was just that little bit better.
It was just that fraction bit better.
But
the big moment in this game, the big moment in this game was the fifth leg, when it really should have been 4-1 Anderson, and they were both all over the shop, and Stephen somehow got over the line and won that particular leg. He was only 3-2 down at the break. 3-2 versus 4-1 down at the first break is absolute. The difference in that is massive.
Exactly.
That continues to be a big talking point throughout the week. And if you can get yourself, if you're not playing well, but you can get yourself 3-2 down, even 6-4 down at the break. We saw Gilding Trail 6-4 and obviously win. He was playing quite well at that point in time, of course. But we just Stephen needs to start better. He just needs to start better. His first 3-5 leg average, I don't even know what it is. It's probably in the 70s or 80s.
Wouldn't be pretty.
It's not been pretty. So he needs to get better starts in these matches, just to make us all relieved. Did you see Tobias's reaction when he won? He was more. He was more emotional than me, I think.
Yeah, he was very jovial and emotional as well. Yeah, he just loves and cares so much for him.
Yes, he does. Hopefully one day he'll be up there on that stage himself.
I reckon
he plays
he will be.
JDC.
Yes, he does, and we've seen in Bunting's YouTube videos, he's there featuring sometimes throwing darts alongside him. So
yeah,
he's
hopefully
might be one to watch.
There's still plenty of years ahead of him, of course.
For sure.
Well, the one thing I did want to ask you more than anything else all morning is you predicted Luke Humphries to win the tournament and he lost first round. You get another bite of the cherry. I was actually half thinking about taking this week off, but so much happened and I think you were eager to do a show, particularly off the back of Adrian, that we had to come in.
Of course.
You get a chance to redo. Well, I technically both get a chance, but I'm going to stick with Gezi. Even though I'll give you a new finalist as well.
Okay.
Who wins the World Matchplay, Josh? We're halfway through the tournament, so you got a bit more of a clearer vision now.
Well, I said Josh Rock. I liked his chances to make the final. He's very close.
Did too.
So, again, that game against MVG, that's very winnable for him. Very winnable.
Very winnable.
If MVG doesn't rock up, God, I think he's going to be punished. So, I like Rock in the final, obviously, as I said that. But then it's sort of where you go from there, who wins. Could Jermaine cause an upset against Luke Littler? You know,
Probably not.
Depends. I don't know. But for a
Are you
winner,
going to give me an answer?
for a winner, I like Rocky.
You like Rocky?
I'm going to stick fat. I said he make the final. Humphries is in it. He's winning it. There you go.
Who comes through from that other side? I reckon we haven't talked about it in this whole podcast, but I reckon James Wade is the best man in form on that side of the bracket.
Underrated.
We sometimes, some people talk about him, sometimes not. He always feels like he isn't really talked about, but he's currently provisionally world number 5, and at the moment, and if he wins the tournament, he will jump ahead of Stephen. To move up into world number 4, which would be something for Wadey. He won this tournament in 2007. Can someone win a tournament 18 years apart? When he won that tournament in 2007, the late great Sid Waddell said he'd be a future world champion. He hasn't quite fulfilled that just yet, but he's playing all right. And 100 and what was it? The first round, 104 and 102, very very strong. I think he's the best player in form of the 2 matches we've seen so far. Now half the guys we haven't seen a second match from them yet. Remind you, but. James Wade, there's something about James Wade that I feel like, as much as I like Van Veen, I like Wade to win that particular match, and who knows what we get from Bunting and Clayton. So
who knows?
I don't know, James. There's something about James Wade. There's something building with him for maybe not just this tournament, but going on later in the year. He's one to you have to keep a massive eye out now on James Wade,
sure.
And we can't leave him until 45 minutes into the podcast in future, Josh. We can't be doing that. He did say, and he probably has a half decent point on this, that he's not the kind of guy that the PDC would want for the Premier League.
No, no, for sure.
A bit more cranky, a bit more on that sort of older side. Yeah. I think he would accept it if he was offered and if he finished top 4.
For sure.
Unlike Gary, who would probably turn it down if he was asked to go in the Premier League. Like, no, I don't want that anymore. But yeah, he's probably not quite in that demographic that the PC wants. But if he makes the top 4, wins the World Matchplay, it'll be hard to leave out.
Exactly. Someone who we do want in the Premier League is obviously a header, but that's
but he's got to make a semi or a final somewhere.
If he had gone to a semi in this one, his chances would be increasingly like obviously it's still far away. Don't get me wrong, it's in February, but
if he has a good October and November, even if he has a poor World Championship, he might maybe get in. But he's going to need to make a deep run. He's still only. It's amazing how he's sitting at the way. He's in the world's top 10. And he's only made like 1 ranking semi-final. It shows you the consistency of that form on the Pro Tour side of things, and the fact that he's been decent enough. He's made a lot of quarterfinals.
Yeah,
when you look at Damon Hender's record, there's a lot of last 8s, but only that UK Open when he beat Luke Littler in a match that could have gone either way. Did he only just about make last 4 at a big tournament? But we'd love to see him, and it'd be a great thing for Australian darts if every Friday morning for 4 months we could get up and watch one of our own. That'd
be nice. Get
up there, but as it is, he's gonna need a bit more work to do.
No doubt.
All right. Something tells me that if that Rock Price, if they meet each other in the quarterfinal, not only is that going to be just a brilliant match to watch in any situation, our predictions go head to head there. I reckon at that point. Both fancy. We'll see what Littler does tomorrow, because he might change my opinion on who might come through that part of the bracket as well. So that's pretty much all. Is there anything else I'm sure there's other big talking points this week that we probably haven't mentioned. We talked about Wadey. Clayton's been reasonably steady as always. He was a bit off this morning against Mike Dedeker, but still got the job done.
I think we've covered most things.
Starting. The Dutchmen have been strong. I think that's pretty much it. We'll go ahead now to... Oh, yeah, of course. Can't forget. Women's World Matchplay as well coming up. As a reminder, Bo Greaves, Nolan Van Leuven and Fallon Sherrick, the top 3 seeds there. We talked about it last week, but I did just want to remind people, in case you've forgotten, they'll be coming up, be Sunday evening Australian time.
Yeah, very soon.
Into, that's Sunday afternoon English time, ahead of the men's World Matchplay final.
Tell them some real darts.
I'm getting a little bit better.
You are. You did
I did a little bit
pinch
better.
a leg off me after some shoddy doubling.
You were on, what was it, for a 15, 18 data on that leg?
I was on for a 15 data, mate.
And then you couldn't hit double 5.
Yeah.
Or double 10.
I hate double 5, so I missed double 10 by a wide, then went in, and then got it in the end.
Well, another thing Stephen needs to do is decide whether or not he's splitting double five in future, because sometimes he's been a bit, I don't know if I'm going there or not. When he won his World Championship 11 and a half years ago, he was doing a lot of those 2 for double 4, which I think is his natural MO.
Yeah.
But sometimes he's a bit in 2 minds when he's got 2 darts in hand, whether to split or not. So get that clear pattern. And I always go straight for a double because I just find that I'm less grumpy than when I miss 3 darts at double 19 than compared to I'm trying to leave 2 for double 16 and then I miss a big number. Then I miss another big number and it's all a disaster.
Well, I mean, obviously it depends how far back I am. If I'm at 100,
True.
so I give myself a chance. But if I'm back at 280, then probably not.
Double 19 was what got that done in that particular leg.
That was a nice dart, by the way.
Yeah, it was. First one low, second one in. That was very nicely done.
Humble as always.
Yeah, 55 average. You're averaging about in the 50s, and I'm averaging in the low 40s. So until you have an absolute stinker, I can't see anything.
I feel like I'm definitely getting a lot better. I was in that sort of 40 to 45, but I reckon I've really jumped.
And then you really jumped to the last one. I haven't particularly gone anywhere. I'm still a bit all over the place.
But I think the first 9, I think my starting's been really good, but my doubling
77 first 9 average is pretty strong.
And then that the doubling just sort of kills the average a little bit. But hey, it's good fun regardless. Now,
have we lost internet? Oh, well, this computer with its internet sometimes does weird things. Anyway, Gary Anderson, Mensah Suljovic played. Most of this I actually had to rewrite because I think we both accidentally deleted what we wrote last week. Anyway, Gary Anderson beat Mensah Suljovic in the 2018 World Matchplay final. We actually beat Sim Bunting in the first round of that tournament. So maybe we'll see something swapped this year, hopefully.
Maybe.
But the Austrian obviously isn't there. Probably greatest World Matchplay final, probably greatest World Matchplay match, if we're being honest. Goes to extra legs, both have their chances. Gary was unlucky with that dart that bounced out of the ball. That would have won it earlier. But he does enough to win the match and secure the Triple Crown as well. So he's the third man of now 4 to do it because Humphries has done it since as well.
Yes.
Gerwyn Van Gogh, and I don't even need to say that they have also won the World Championship, the World Matchplay, in the Premier League. This week, here we go. Adrian Lewis. It had to be Lewis.
I love it.
Against Michael Van Gogh in 2013 semi-final. By the way, the final of this match between Phil Taylor and the winner of this one was another thriller.
Wow.
But with Adrian Lewis having the week he's had, I had to find a way.
Of course.
2013 World Matchplay final.
Respect
First
that.
is 17 legs. Need to win by 2. Keep that in mind.
Yep.
This is brilliant. And this is the first time I think we've put up the recommended YouTube video. This isn't actually the full match. It's just sort of an extended highlights package.
Okay.
So, I can literally play, and you'll hear them say, the first 2 legs were shared. We pick up action in the third. You can see how often I've now watched that. I've watched this match several times because I know how that video starts. And I pick up this one because you can find the full match in various places, but the quality on this one's better than any other.
Looks nice HD there.
Yeah. And the sound, Ross Bray is the referee as well. The sound of this noise seems to be something. I reckon that whatever they were doing with the sound effects and amplifying that on Sky Sports was probably better than what they're doing now at the moment. But also the great pace. Adrian Lewis, Michael Van Gogh, are both pretty quick. So the match had a great rhythm to it.
Yeah.
So check that one out as a classic World Matchplay, I should say, semi-final from 2013 when Adrian Lewis and Michael Van Gogh were both near their peaks.
Go head to head.
All right, Josh, that's it.
Wow.
All done.
Great episode.
Adrian Lewis is back. Yes. Stephen Bunting's in the last day of the World Matchplay for just the
Yes.
second time in his career. Yes. They'll play Johnny Clayton. 2 of my favourite walk-ons will go head-to-head. Titanium and Go, Johnny, Go. Gian van Veen and James Wade is the other quarterfinal. Presumably Van Veen and Wade will go first, and then Bunting and Clayton will be the feature match on what will be Friday morning, Australian time. But tomorrow, the order of play will be Andrew Gilding versus Dirk van Dijvenbode, then Chris Dobie versus Gerwyn Price, Luke Littler versus Jermaine Watermainer, and Michael Van Gogh against Josh Rock. I am thinking as well in the future for these PDC events, the only thing that maybe could improve the match or improve a lot of these events is if they started them like an hour earlier. Because a lot of these matches, they're wrapping up at like 11 o'clock. And if you've got a family at the event or watching on television, it's a bit more difficult. If they start closer to 6:30, that might be a bit better. Because what it also does is the third match of all these sessions, of these 4 match sessions, are the big names.
Yeah, true.
That's the blockbuster one. So Stephen, Gary, so Luke's got the third match here. So you had Luke their third match and Michael the third match at their both Luke's third match on in that session because that's the more prime time because it's 9 to 10 and then after that 10 to 11 is a bit later.
True.
So if you shift it later, you put the prime time match as the last match, which is really what it should be. The last match should be the big one of the night. But
True.
So if they shifted like half an hour or an hour earlier for a lot of these events, I think that would be good. It doesn't particularly matter for me because I'll get up whenever I wake up and watch it the full
Sure
replay
will.
on KO.
4 a.m.
So that's tomorrow. Little Wanamania will play Gilding Van Boda. The winner of Van Gogh and Rock will play the winner of Dobie Price. That's all, Josh. Thank you for a big show.
Pleasure as always.
There's no
Thank
footy
you.
chat this week because Woodsy is going to an Australia Cup football match, Heidelberg United. The Nunawading City did a great article on Nunawading City getting to the last 16 of that tournament. That's a brilliant story. And we'll be keeping an eye on them at extra time, of course. Of all happenings going on, particularly in Australian sport, I've written a couple of articles, one previewing the match play and another on the state of West Indies and Australian cricket in some respects. I'm pretty happy with that.
There's also an Adrian Lewis article coming from me very, very soon, so stay tuned. It'll be a short little read, but of course I need to mention him. He's been fantastic.
He
Can't
has
wait to see him.
been. It'll be great to see him as well. Hopefully we'll see some Aussies in that international pairs as well.
Hopefully.
Week.
Simon Mason,
and
hopefully.
Simon would be the ideal one, I reckon.
Hopefully. We'll find out.
We will see. Alrighty, Josh, that's it
Pleasure.
from me and you, I think.
Yes, indeed.
It's going to be a brilliant finish to the World Match Play. Check out the Darts Archive. Check a lot of the other stuff we do, of course, on Extra Time. Like and subscribe. I think some of the boys have also got an Extra Time TikTok up and going. We sort of had half one, but we sort of delete the old one and
Start fresh.
now some of the newer guys. That's not me. I'm
Same
not
with
involved
us.
in any of that.
Instagram, TikTok for me as well. It's also live. Getting some good traction on that, actually.
We are.
Which is good.
Which is good. So there'll be stuff from this podcast that would have come out in the next couple of days. All right, Josh, that's it.
Hopefully the audio works fine this time.
Hopefully
because
the audio. Oh, that's the other thing. The audio and the lips moving didn't
Yeah.
really sync up towards the back end of the last episode for reasons I'm not really sure.
we had a comment last
someone
video,
pointed it
so
out.
thanks for pointing it
talking
out.
about to the guy on the left.
Obviously, we were aware, but thanks for
We couldn't
your
really do
comment.
anything.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Anyway, thanks for
We're
listening
back.
to the episode. At some point, these will be up as an audio only. I'll get around to that
Yes.
at some point. In about 3 months, probably. I don't know. I've got a lot to do. But thank you very much, Josh.
No worries.
And best of luck to those remaining in the World Match Play. And hopefully next week, we'll be going Bunting Mental and we'll still have the red up around here. That would be nice.
And you're going to wear that shirt, of course.
I will wear the shirt. Even if it makes it fun, I might wear this shirt. Hopefully Stephen Bunting has a good, strong rest of the tournament. But it should be a good second half of the World Match Play.
Sure will.
And we'll review it in its entirety, well, really from this point onwards, next week.
We will.
This has been the 9 Dart Podcast.